Hello, good evening.
Good
Good
evening,
evening,
madam.
madam.
Okay, now there are six students actually, seven it is with me too. What shall we do? Should we wait for some more minutes?
Okay, madam.
Okay, so we'll wait for 2, 3 minutes. Hari. Okay. Shall we start? Other students will join leisurely as usual. Hari. Okay. So hope you can remember what we were doing. So we started this topic, language skills development. So our subject is teaching English as a second language. So under that, we started language skill development. I will remind what I did with you. So language skills are four types. It's common to all the languages in the world, not only for English language. Okay. So these skills are listening, speaking, reading, writing, LSRW. Okay. So then after that, we got to know when a second language learner is having a very good foundation of these four skills in his or her mother tongue, that will be an added advantage for him or her to master these skills in second language also, because these language skills are transferable. Okay, that's what we were discussing. And then we got to know when students develop their language skills. Actually, the responsibility of developing students' language skills is not totally students' responsibility. The great part of the responsibility is on teachers also. So anyhow, when students develop their language skills, and that will enhance their cognitive skills, it will increase motivation and confidence of students. Same thing, ne Hari? Okay. So then we started discussing separately these skills. And then completed reading skill because these slides were shuffled. So I arranged it today in an order. I hope you can remember we discussed reading skills. Okay, did you get your memory refreshed?
Yes, madam.
Harry, okay. So now as these skills uh, according to listening, speaking, reading, writing. So I reshuffle the slides. So accordingly, we'll start listening. And I don't know whether you have thought. So then in Sri Lanka, actually, English language was started being taught as the second language since 1943, actually. The decision was taken by a committee chaired by Dr. CWRD Kanangar. Okay? CW Kanangar. Okay, he is the chairperson of the committee. You just imagine since 1943 up to now, how many years we are uh, with the English language as second language of Sri Lanka, but still English language proficiency of Sri Lankans, maybe Sinhala, Tamil, Muslim, whoever it is, Sri Lankans, it's not up to the expected level. And have you ever thought one major reason for that is actually uh, when this language is taught to the students, all these four skills, they are not equally addressed. The best example is for English language in school level, the least attention is paid to listening and speaking. So in Sri Lankan education, language learning is misunderstood as reading and writing. Basically, it is writing. Okay, so there was an opinion that practical part, oral part should be there for English language at the O level. But up to now, we know we measure English language ability of Sri Lankan students only with the paper. Okay, but practically, when we want to have a proficiency in any language, we need to have an equal exposure, equal learning of all these skills. I hope you can understand it. Okay, now we'll go to listening skills. Okay, see. Okay, okay. So then if somebody asks you, what is the main purpose of a language? The exact answer is language is to communicate. Okay, so behind the scene, behind the screen, there may be very narrow purposes, just like finding a job easily, having a social state, particular social status. They are hidden things. They are there. But actually, the basic purpose of learning a language is for communication. When we think of communication, listening skill plays an active role because in the process of communication, listening is very, very important. It will help you to build and maintain relationship. Just think about if you are married husband and wife, or else you can think about friendship or uh, lovers. The main important thing for long lasting relationship is listening actually. And then listening will help to solve problems, and also it improves processes and retain information. That means we can keep information for a longer period in our memory. Okay, but when we say listening, it's not just passively hearing sounds. Hearing and listening, they are two different actions actually. Hearing is without our knowledge, but listening is with our knowledge, conscious process. So, on the listening also, we have to have active listening. So, active listening is an active process of receiving, constructing meaning from and responding to spoken non-verbal messages. It's not just receiving, and we have to get meaning from what we received, and then after that we have to respond. Response can be either spoken or written. Okay, now tell me, up to this, did you understand?
Yes, madam.
Harry, okay. If you have any doubt, you have to ask. Okay, we were talking about active listening in the earlier slide. Now we'll see what is active listening. Okay, active listening is actually uh, a particular soft skill, and active listening requires uh, your focus on speakers completely. So then, if you are listening actively, you have to focus on what the speaker says completely. Okay, so there's no point of just focusing, understanding the message, and reflect on what's being said. Okay, so then you have to listen completely, understand the message, and then you have to respond thoughtfully to what you understood. And also, you have to keep the information in your memory for for later use. Okay, so active listening is listening to the speaker completely, understanding the message properly, uh, then reflect on what's being said. You have to think about what you understand, and then accordingly you have to respond, and also you have to keep that information in your memory for later use. And there are listening techniques. Actually, there are two types: verbal and non-verbal. Okay, now we'll see what these verbal and non-verbal active listening techniques, because that's very important. See, so these active listening techniques are actually certain techniques that the listener use purposely with an awareness to fully concentrate on what the speaker is telling. And also, active listening strategies will help the listener to understand what the speaker is telling in a better way. And also, it helps to respond thoughtfully. And we'll see what these strategies are: listening strategies. Okay, so one technique which is needed for active listening is uh, being fully present. So, what does this mean? Okay, so then when we are listening, we have to allow the speaker to feel comfortable and share his or her thoughts. And when we are listening, actually, we have to listen with an open mind. So we should not be listening with pre assumptions in our mind. And also, when the speaker is talking, we should not disturb the speaker. We should not interrupt the speaker, and we should allow him, her to complete the sentences. And some people I have noticed, and even you might have noticed, when a person is talking, they are not thinking about or they are not concentrating on what the speaker is telling. Instead, they are thinking about what she should tell next. And it's not a good quality of a uh, active listener. Okay. And next one. Okay. So other characteristic of a good listener, or when you are listening actively, this is something that you should do actually. You have to avoid distractions. So when you are listening, your concentration is very important. You should not get distracted from your listening. And these distractions may be within a vast range, actually, with minimum distractions to a very large distractions. Okay, sometimes maybe notification sounds of your mobile phone can be a distraction. And also maybe what your family members are talking. If you can hear it, it may be a distraction. And also there are certain things you purposely do. For an example, ringing your phone, but family members are talking, that is out of your control. But actually, so there are certain things that you do, and maybe you are glancing at your button, you are looking at your phone, and sometimes you will make some noises like audibly sighing, or doodling or tapping a pen. Okay, those things should not be there. I will sum up. Okay, if you want to be an active listener, avoid distractions. Number one is be fully present, avoid distractions. Next. Okay, so you have to show that you are actively listening with visual cues actually. So you have to teach your students actually. So when they are actively listening, you can understand it. They will nod their head, they will smile and maintain eye contact. And we use nodding to say that we agree with you, we accept your idea like that. And here, a smile encourages a speaker to continue and indicates that you agree with their message and they are happy to listen. Okay. So when we are listening to someone, if we smile, being in the audience, it says we are happy to listen. So then eye contacts, they are very important in listening. And you have to keep your eyes on the speaker and avoid looking at the other people or object in the room. So we have seen some students, even some teachers, when they talk, they look at different things, not at the audience. So it's not correct actually. Next one, paraphrase. Okay, so paraphrasing, it doesn't mean the paraphrasing we do actually, we have learned. So here, paraphrasing means when the speaker is talking, we have to paraphrase in our mind actually. That is to verify that we fully understood what he says. Okay, paraphrasing is very important. Uh, okay, so one example here. Sometimes, if you have a chance to talk to the speaker, it's not available every time. So, if you have a chance, you have to verify with the speaker, just like so. What you are saying is your current content management system no longer meets your team's technical needs. Okay, that is to verify. Harry. Next one, recall previously shared information. Okay, so recalling previously shared information. Okay, so while listening to the speaker, you should remember what some important uh, information which she shared early. So these are simple things. Take it in simple way. So just imagine the speaker is delivering a speech for 1 hour. So if you can't remember what he mentioned early, your listening will not be active. Okay. Okay, quickly we'll do this part. Okay, so if you are an active listener, so actually we are thinking about these things with reference to students. So when the teacher is explaining the stuff, if they are active listeners, they will ask questions, and they will not ask yes no questions. They will ask open-ended questions. Okay, it shows that they want to gather more information like that. Asking open-ended questions, that is also a feature of very good quality of active listener. Okay, so be empathetic and validate. So that means when we are listening in day-to-day communication, actually, so we have to understand the speaker and his situation just like that. Okay, so when the speaker is talking about a death of a close relative, we can't smile and say hi who. So we have to show we are also worrying about the death of demise of the relative, just like that. Okay, so while listening, you can use very short verbal affirmations to confirm your agreement, your understanding. Okay, some of them I understand, I see. Yes, that makes sense. I agree. Thank you for sharing. Okay, just like that. Quickly we'll do. Share similar experiences. We'll just ignore that. Then not taking. So not taking is a very good habit of active listening. Just read. Yes, not taking. So you know what not taking when you are listening. So you can jot down keywords, phrases, concepts, okay, that will help you to understand better. So there are different note taking methods. So if you are interested in, you can read on them. Linear method, mind map, cornell notes, just like that. Anyhow, while listening, having a piece of paper and a pen in your hand is very important. Okay, summarizing and paraphrasing, they are very important in listening. Summarizing means overall idea. You can summarize in your own words. So here, summarizing, it doesn't mean you are writing it, but in your memory, you can summarize it. Okay, paraphrasing. So when the speaker is telling something, you can understand it and you can convert it into your own words. Okay, so they are not real paraphrasing, but when the speaker is explaining something in advanced way, you should have the ability to paraphrase it into your level. I will. Is it okay if I quickly go like this? Because otherwise you may feel bored, and even when I share this slide, you can read and understand. Is it okay? Active listening is important to build connections and then so develop trust. So between people actually. Then identifying and solving problems. And active listening will increase your understanding of various topics. And so when you listen actively, you will not miss anything. You will listen everything properly. So if you are not an active listener, when you are listening, there may be many more things that you missed. That is unavoidable. Okay, so uh, from this you understood the importance of active listening in communication. So when you are learning a second language, you should remember listening in second language. So here second language, it refers to English language. So listening to English conversations, listening to English songs, listening to English dialogues and English movies, watching them. Watching means in a way we can hear the sound, listening. Okay, they are very important. As I earlier told you, in Sri Lanka, actually, what students are lacking is actually uh, listening opportunities. So adult students, of course, they have, I am talking about school level. So that is one thing. But when we take self-learning, adult learning, so now with this internet, social media, the learners are having a huge choice in listening. Okay, the next, so if you want to improve your second language competency, improving your listening skills is very, very important. Okay, now we'll move to speaking. Okay, so speaking skill, so that is an innate ability actually. If you are not having any problem related to your vocal system, so you can speak. So that is the thing. So here, speaking, it doesn't mean only communication. So it involves, so even though we produce words and talk, behind that there are uh, many more process, organizing thoughts and also choosing appropriate vocabulary according to your audience. You have to select the appropriate vocabulary and using correct grammar, and you have to adapt yourself to the listener and also to the situation. Okay, now you can see how to develop fluency, accuracy, and pronunciation in speaking. developing fluency, accuracy, and pronunciation. So you should have an idea about what fluency is. That is the ability to speak smoothly, naturally, without hesitation or pausing, actually, without stopping. So actually, fluency means the flow of your talk. Accuracy, it refers to the correctness of your speech. And what you speak should be grammatically correct. You must have used appropriate vocabulary and the sentence structure. All these things refer under accuracy. Here, read this also pronunciation. Okay, pronunciation, you know what pronunciation is? That is producing the sounds of language. And you know, we have to pronounce words correctly. So, including individual sounds, you know, them are called phonemes. And when there are stresses, you have to use stress, intonation, rhythm. Okay, all these things should be there when you pronounce. Okay, so the first one is developing fluency, accuracy, and pronunciation is very important in active speaking. Next, communicative activities. Okay, so there are lots of activities that teachers can use to improve speaking ability of students. So some of them are role plays, discussions, presentations, debates, storytelling. Okay, so there are many more things, activities the teacher can use to improve speaking skills. Teaching pronunciation and intonation. Just read that also. Okay, so when we talk about students' speaking ability, teaching them pronunciation and intonation is very important. So, you know what pronunciation is? Intonation means raising the voice up and down when and where it suits. Okay, so those things should be taught to the students. Phonetics, phonology, stress, intonation, minimal pairs, drills, recordings, feedback. Okay, so these are some things that you can teach students actually. Hi. So reading skills, I think we completed last week. We were talking about pre-reading, reading, before reading or pre-reading, while reading or during reading, and after reading. We completed it. Did we do these things? I cannot exactly remember. Skimming, I can remember we did also. Read aloud. Did we do these things? You have to tell me.
I think no, madam.
Then we'll do here. Okay. So we just completed pre-reading, while reading, after reading. Can you remember it? Or
Yes,
should we
madam.
start from?
Yes,
Yes, okay.
yes,
Honey,
madam.
honey. So here, so reading strategies. Honey, we'll start here.
Madam, please, would you please remove the black mark
This
intensive
this
reading?
one, Hari. Okay, I do. Yes, okay. That is Zoom by actually, Hari. Okay, now is it readable?
Yes,
Yes,
Hari.
madam.
Okay.
yes, madam. Thank you.
Okay. Read. There are many reading strategies. One is skimming. Have you heard of skimming? Oh, do you know these things?
Yes, madam.
Hari. So I will simply explain. Skimming means quickly looking at the reading stuff and get a general idea about it. So just best example, when you take a newspaper, we'll say Sunday newspaper. Nowadays, people are not reading newspapers. That is something else. So once you get the newspaper, you will turn the pages very quickly and you will scan the pages and you will check uh, what is more interesting to read first, just like that. Okay, skimming, using skimming, we can get an overall idea actually. Scanning is also done quickly, but the purpose of scanning, is to understand or to search for a specific information. Okay, that is not to get overall idea, that is to get a specific information. Okay, so in for if I say so, then you are having a list of events. We'll say TV program, the event list, and you want to get an idea at what time sport items are telecast. So you have to scan it. Intensive reading means reading for understanding. So when you are reading to understand something, that is intensive reading. Okay, opposite of this is extensive reading, that is reading for pleasure. So when students read because of their exams, they know if they do not read these tough novels, short stories, poems, they can't answer the paper at the exam. That is intensive reading. Okay, we'll go to the next page. Skimming. So other than that, developing reading comprehension skill. So to understand what you read, to understand what they read by students, there are some uh, techniques, some steps, some strategies. We learn them. Okay, reading aloud. Okay, you know what reading aloud? That is a good strategy that you can develop. Understanding of reading. Reading comprehension means understanding what you read. Okay, actually, you also might have this experience. When you read aloud, you can remember the stuff very easily. Okay, reading aloud is a good technique to develop reading comprehension. Next. Okay. So then, when students are reading, even when you are reading actually, so you need to take an effort to identify the main idea of the passage or the reading stuff. We'll say passage. So imagine there are 5 passages. For an example, So when you complete reading the first passage, you should have the ability to get the main idea of the first passage. When you go to the second, you have to do the same. Finding supporting details. You see, okay. So then not only the main idea, so after that you have to understand supporting details. So there are supporting details based on the main idea. Actually, we can understand the main idea based on supportive detail. Okay, so I'm just simply explaining these things because I'm sure you know these things. And you have to recognize the story structure and key points. When you read, you have to understand the structure of the writing. Structure of the writing means uh, does this particular reading stuff has a beginning, the middle, and the end? Or is it about one topic, or is it about many topics? Just like that. And if you are reading a story, so you have to understand the characters, the themes, the setting, background, the mood, themes, and all these things. And who is the protagonist, antagonist, and other characters, all these things. And use graphic organizer. I hope you read it. So do you have an idea about what graphic organizer is? Note taking, of course, you know. Here, graphic organizer means you have to graphically write down, organize what you read. I will give you an example. Just imagine it is a novel or a short story. We'll say novel. So when you read, you have to note down uh, the relationship among characters, father, mother, the daughter's fiancé. Okay, just like that. Okay, there you have to use arrows and all these things for graphic organizers. For an example, you are reading about environmental pollution. So you can put environment pollution, and from that you can say water pollution, air pollution, soil pollution, sound pollution, like that. So you have to graphically note down what you read. I hope you understood it. Is it clear?
Yes, madam.
Hari, okay. Here, answer questions. Number 6 is actually when you are reading, you can make questions yourself, or else there are questions coming to your mind and you can answer them. So that's a very good reading habit. Because I don't know whether you have heard. So in the Western countries, there are separate subjects called reading. So in Sri Lankan context, reading is not a separate subject. But there are countries where reading is a separate subject. So there are, when we take a reading stuff, there are two margins, left and the right. So the students, they are advised to write down questions on the left side margin while reading. And they should not be very lengthy questions. What appear as questions, there is a message. Will you send these notes to Understand? But anyway, I will be sharing the note. I can't fully understand the message. Hari, okay. I will be sharing the notes. Okay, and then what I was telling, the left margin is to write down questions. And after reading, actually, right side, you can write down the answers. It's not writing questions very clearly and writing answers very quickly, but even using 1, 2 words, just like that. And then seventh one also related to that, generating questions. Okay, so sometimes you may be individually reading, you may be reading as a group, so then you can generate questions. Okay, summarize what you have read. Here, summarizing means after you complete reading stuff, in your mind, you have to have a sort of summary about what you read. And that's a very good reading habit. Then what you read will be in your memory long lasting. Okay. Practice using new vocabulary. Okay, so that is why we say reading makes you a very good speaker and a writer. The reason behind that is actually when you continue reading, automatically your vocabulary will improve. Okay, for that, when you come across certain new words, new phrases, you should practice using them again and again. I have seen some students, they write down new words and phrases. It doesn't make a very big sense actually, because writing, rather than writing them in a book, it's okay, you can write. But more than that, you have to use new vocabulary items you notice, then you will not forget it. Okay, building background knowledge. So purposely you cannot build background knowledge. Actually, that means so your background knowledge. That means your knowledge about various areas and your knowledge about various subjects, your knowledge about various locations, all these, and your knowledge about new innovations, all these things will help you positively to understand what you read. So if you are a person with a vast background knowledge, you can easily understand what you read. Teaching vocabulary and reading comprehension strategies. Just read Okay, teaching vocabulary and reading comprehension strategy. One is direct instructions. So one is the teacher can explicitly, that means very clearly, teacher can teach vocabulary words and their meanings. If necessary, teacher can provide examples. And then contextual learning. So that is really good actually. That means introducing vocabulary words with the context, with the relevant situations, relevant passages. Graphic organizers we discuss, questioning techniques, that's all. Okay. Cooperative learning. That means students are put into small groups and they are asked to discuss what they are reading. And these things we will learn later. Second language teaching methods under that. Okay, writing. Did we do writing previous day?
No,
I
ma'am.
think we, no, Hari. Yes, even I thought that we did only reading, Hari. Now we'll go to the last one, writing. Okay, writing. You know what writing is? That is actually producing written language. Okay, so when you are producing your idea in written language, that is writing. It includes spelling, grammar, punctuation, and organization. Okay, we'll be talking about these things, stages of writing, developing writing skills, teaching writing strategies. Okay, read. Okay, stages of writing. So there are three stages actually, basically. Hari, pre-writing. So you know the meaning of the prefix pre, before. Before you write something, you have to brainstorm. That means you have to generate ideas and you have to list them and you have to map them. Then you have to research. That means gathering information from various sources, outlining. So then, yeah, here more than three actually: pre-writing, drafting. Yeah, quickly we'll do. Then we can start fresh, new lesson next day. Drafting means that means you are originally your ideas are there in your brain, so you have to change it into written form. Okay, that is drafting. So when you are drafting, don't worry about perfection. So it can be a rough draft. And then you can revise what you drafted. Okay, just read that. Okay, then revising. So what you drafted, you can revise if it is necessary. So then, according to your audience type, that means to whom you are writing, according to your purpose. Okay, so focus on the big picture means you have to think about the overall picture of what you are writing. And then you can have feedback actually. So then, even though you are an expert in writing in English, sometimes you will not notice your own mistakes. So when you show your draft to somebody else, only you can get to know about your mistakes, and we call proofreading. and then editing. Okay, editing. So what you drafted, what you adjusted, so you now you have come to the editing stage. So on the editing stage, you have to check for grammar, punctuation errors, and you have to check whether you can express the idea in a more clear way, and then check for consistency. And okay, so these are the stages: pre-writing, drafting, revising, editing. Okay, four stages are there. And when you write, actually you have, when you, if you want to develop your writing skill, you have to think about these things. Coherence. Okay, developing the coherence. What is coherence? That is actually the overall logical flow and organization of your writing. So when you write something, it may be a letter. We'll simply say, so there should be a logical flow and organization. So under coherence, these things are there: clear topic sentence, logical transition. That means what you present as topic sentence should be logically explained. However, furthermore, in conclusion, these are transition words actually. And strong thesis statements. That means a clear statement that outline the main argument. Don't take these things seriously, but coherence. And then what is cohesion? Okay, so here cohesion, coherence, the earlier one. Here cohesion means grammatical and lexical connection. That means grammatical and the connection. The lexical means words. So then, when we arrange words, there should be a grammatical accuracy. So when we say she writes a letter, we can't say she letter writes. It's wrong. So there is a cohesion. Use pronouns clearly and correctly. Repetition of keywords and phrases. Parallel structure, that means using similar grammatical structure. Example, running, swimming, cycling are my favorite activities. You see here, parallel structure: running, swimming, cycling. Present participles. We can't say running, to swim, cycle are my favorite activities. That is wrong. Then grammar. Okay, grammar. Grammar is something very, very important in writing. Okay, so under grammar, there are many rules: subject verb agreement, tenses, parts of speech. Okay, so you can practice and study grammar, identify and correct errors. Okay, you can utilize on, there are lots of uh, resources that you can improve your grammar. Okay, technical writing strategies, brainstorming. So these things you can leisurely read. And okay, few more things. The brainstorming is very important. Free writing. So then teachers should encourage students to write freely. So without limiting their writing with instructions and other things. And you can ask students to list ideas and mind map. Okay, so under brainstorming, these things can be done. And you can provide templates. So the format, invitation, you are doing all these things actually. Invitation, format for invitation, format for official letter, just like that. Model outlining. That means if you are teaching your students, we'll say narrative writing, you can give them a model you are writing. And guiding students through the process is very important. So giving step-by-step guidance. A peer review, that is also very good important. That means rather than teacher checking students writing, we should encourage students to check their own writing. That means the peer writing. That means two students can get together and check each other's writing. Okay, so provide feedback forms to make this peer review more effective. We can support them with feedback forms, and then we can give them a model effective peer review. In the school setup, in higher education, even peer review is very important. So lecturer is reviewed by another lecturer. Okay, so that is really effective. Hari. Okay, so that is the end of this section. It's a very heavy section. We completed. So then under second, teaching English as a second language. So that is our subject. So when we teach English as a second language, we discuss improving students' language skills is very, very important. That's what up to now we discussed. It's a lengthy one. So our main subject is teaching English as a second language. So under that, this one, language skill development is a subtopic. So there we got to know improving students' language skill is very, very important. That's what we discuss. And we explain what these skills are, and then we discuss how to improve them, certain stages of these skills like that. Okay, I will be sharing the slide with you and I will share the slide into your group. And if you have some questions, you can ask now actually. Yes? Okay, if you do not
Madam,
have questions, we can wind
madam,
up the session. Yes?
excuse me, madam.
Yeah, sure, sure.
Do you
Ah,
have any past paper questions with you
past
relevant to
paper
these
questions I
lessons?
will search. If not, I will ask the institute and I will do that also, no problem. I will discuss it
Okay.
with you. Past paper
Thank
questions.
you. Thank you, madam.
Okay, okay. Now I am trying to share the stuff into your group. Hari. Hari, okay then. Good night and have a nice day.
Good night, ma'am.
Yes, madam. Thank you.
Oh,
Good night,
Good
madam.
night,
Thank you,
madam.
madam.
Thank
okay,
you,
well,
madam.
okay, good
Thank you, madam.
night. Okay.
Thank you, madam. Good night.